Lots of videos out there talk about, is VR dead? Is it irrelevant now? But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm a MetaQuest creator, and that means that on occasion I make content about Meta and the updates and the games they offer because I'm a proponent of what they do. The more VR headsets sell, the better the VR industry is, and it's good for everyone. And that was true for a long time. But more and more I'm seeing comments like this. Let me show you. Need this fantasy. Here we've got a video from Roto VR. It's an advert, and admittedly, I'm in it. They just picked up footage that I had made, that other people had made, Nathy and all those guys, and they put something together. And I love the Roto VR chair. I think that what they did is very cool. I think that it does a lot. It works across PC VR and standalone, and I understand it costs money, but there's a reason it does. The time that went into planning it, building it structurally, the failed iterations, the steel, the plastic, the shipping, everything about it's something that required a lot of hands and a lot of iterations and a lot of failures before they had something that was perfect and strong and well built. It costs money. And then you have comments like this. This guy says if this was more like an office chair with arms, etc., and priced at about 250 euros, it would be a no-brainer. But this, you get half a chair at 4 times the price. The only people who will buy this is people with more money than sense. The VR market is still very small, so I would be amazed if this sold more than 1,000 units. And most of them will be VR YouTubers. Now, I'm not trying to call this guy out, but I'm not going to mute his name either because he's on the internet in the world saying something ridiculous, and I'm going to comment on it. He's in this cushy position where he can go on eBay and buy a MetaQuest 3 for $200. And so he doesn't have to spend the money to kind of grassroots summon this device into being. He is not the generation of people that spent the last 10, 15 years playing with a DK1 and being lured into it by the Gear VR as I was, and following the trajectory of VR at every turn, and being blown away when we had hand tracking in 2021 or something. And just all the steps that led to VR being what it is now. And at that time, back then, you had to spend money. Like in the early days, you had to have PC VR. You had to drop like $2,000 on the computer alone, and then you had to get the headset, and then you had, like, there was so much. So they paved the way. Fine. Meta didn't invent the Oculus Quest. Palmer Luckey invented the Oculus Quest in his garage, and then Meta bought them. And that's not a knock on Meta. I appreciate them for doing what they do, which is pushing the envelope when no one else seems to want to. I get it. But at some point, it becomes a problem when you can grab a Quest 3 headset for $300, $200 used. You get it for Christmas, and then in your brain, you do this thing where you think that, well, I'm not going to spend more than the Meta Quest. Why would I? That's like buying 2 headsets. And it doesn't just end there. If it did, that would be you having an opinion and you being in a position where you can't spend the money, and it's fine. I completely understand. People don't send me stuff all the time. Any dollar I made from YouTube went directly into accessories that I could review. But people like this guy have this mindset that says that if you spend more than the price of a headset on an accessory, you're an idiot. You're like a blight on society. That's the level of like vitriol he has for this concept. And it's gross. And I get those kinds of comments under my Behaptics and ProTube videos and HIG VR anytime I'm talking about something that costs between $300 and $1,500. I get it. It's expensive, and it's probably not for you, but it's for someone. And the people that's for are the people that made you having a MetaQuest headset possible in the first place. You might take hand tracking for granted, but slam tracking is not that old, and the work that went into tracking those hands is deep and convoluted. And if Meta, and Oculus for that matter, Palmer Luckey, were built up of people who had the mindset that why on earth would you spend more than the price of a headset on an accessory? If they had felt like that, then nothing would get done. There would be no audience to sell to, and it would stagnate. And because of people like this, we have the Horizon store, a place that should be just you and your games and things that you like and the friends that you have and a place to connect, a place that just shuts off everything else and it's all about your library and what you dig. And now, I mean, I haven't played with it too much. Gamertag made a video very recently talking about how it might have changed with this new update. I don't know, but it looks promising. Minus that, for a long time, this has been nothing but your game's fine, but it's convoluted and mixed in with all of these Horizon World experiences that you didn't ask for, that you don't subscribe to, that you don't own, and that in a lot of cases are populated by kids playing it flat screen on their phone. They're not even in VR. And so you're playing with squeakers that you don't know, kids who won't shut up, won't stop using the N-word. And now that's VR. That's VR for you. And I'm not trying to outright suggest that because you bitched about the price of an accessory compared to the price of the headset that you're somehow responsible for this, but your state of mind plays into it. Instead, what you should be doing is you should be looking around you and asking yourself, what of these, between gun stocks and wheels and sim rigs and haptic gloves and chairs and vests, what of these do I care about? What could I potentially care about? What will make VR better for me, given that I do or do not have a gaming PC, given that I have a room that is this size? What could I potentially enjoy down the line? But instead of really putting thought into it and really like digging down inside of themselves and saying, what is it I think might be cool, and having some kind of an aha moment about what they're missing out on, they just attack and point fingers and say, you're an idiot because you think this has value, and oh my God, look at this guy. But if you were in charge, nothing would get done. And you wouldn't even have the headset that Meta sold you at a loss because they're profiting off of your data, because they know they can sell you this experience inside of Horizon Worlds that is not for VR necessarily, that is more prone to being pushed inside of mobile, and that is the desired outcome, to be a flat screen device that is compatible with VR and mobile. And you're supposed to be happy with it. Well, I'm not happy with it, and I want more immersive experiences. I want the dream to be able to walk around, no treadmill, but like the holodeck, to physically move around, to physically feel things in my hands. I want to crack open a root beer in VR and smell it. I want this full immersion, and someday it'll be here, but it will only be here because of the fringe lunatics among us who find value in these extra immersive experiences and who take the time to honestly save up and buy it and put their own effort, their own money into evolving that technology. We need more people like that and less people like this guy complaining about the price of something. If you can't afford it, don't buy it, obviously. But don't be one of those guys who just, meh, I can't afford it, so that means it's bullshit. Like that seems like that's half of the users in VR lately that you come across online. It's like this form of extreme cope, like because they can't afford it, then not only is it outside of their reach, they'll never have it, but they'll never want it. If it's the last thing they'll do, they'll never want it. Until that is, the tech is purchased by Meta and it's subsidized by them and it's suddenly affordable 10 years from now and it's just a part of the headset and it's a good experience, and the billions of dollars that went into building that tech over the course of a decade is lost to history. But now you have it in 2035 in your standalone headset that after inflation cost $4,000 and a loaf of bread cost $12.